Let's throw Brian through a table. I'm here with BKFC President David Feldman. Always a fun time with him. And coming off these exciting fights, BKFC 14, it was awesome. But before we even get started, we haven't talked about this. I'm going to find out if I get a check, get some hazard pay here, because before the event started, the chaos ensued. Even before the event started, we were looking around. You know where I'm going with this. And we were checking out the site, make sure everything's okay. And there's a lot of tables. So if there's a lot of tables, two immature people, or maybe one, I don't know, say, let's throw Brian through a table. I mean, that's the way to do it, right?
Sure.
Usually a table would break, you see on TV.
Who would do something like that?
Diamond Dave, I guess. I don't know. But that's like your wrestling alter ego, Diamond Dave. Should we bring that up?
That was fun. I felt bad for you because that hard plastic table did not bend. It certainly didn't break.
My neck did almost.
But I remember you coming up to me about 2 hours later and saying, damn, my arms are still numb.
It's true. My fingers are still numb, but it was worth it. We got it on tape, and I think the production guy has something he can roll. We can take a look at it. You can hear the sound.
Production guy?
Evan. Oh, you want to say your name? I can say your name. I didn't think Evan even wanted any
Evan, pipe down over there, Evan. You're not allowed to speak during the broadcast.
Director of Content Development.
The Director of Content and Development, Evan Zentar. Lord Evan Zentar. Right. The Lord himself. Now, I believe he has...
So you guys do see all these videos coming around, these highlight videos. That is Evan Zentar. He is on a lifetime employment agreement with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. Actually, Evan's all upset. I shouted him out during the show. He did that awesome Page on Glove piece that we did as well, which you should check that out in the app. It's really well done. But I believe Evan can run the video of you.
So while we're talking about people falling
table
down and getting thrown through tables and things like that, why is it that every major incident we have in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship that Brian Soscia's on the floor? Why is it?
I wish I knew, man. I really don't know because, I just seem to be in the middle of all of it. And everyone comes up to me, fans. I had fighters coming up there be like, are you okay? Every time. And now people are asking me to take pictures where they're pushing me. People are shoving me. And I had like 4 pictures taken.
That's amazing.
I guess you got to be known for something.
That's amazing because it happened and I look over and I'm like, wait, did he even get pushed or did he trip?
No, well, it was a little bit of both. Your face was priceless when you looked at me. Tyler kind of, if you look closely, Tyler kind of swung his arm, Tyler Goodjohn. And when that happened, I went back a little bit. Then I may have tripped over my own feet. I don't know. But I know that I landed into the ring ropes cables, and they don't feel good. They don't feel good at all. So I was just trying to stay out of the way.
That's funny.
That was a crazy moment, though, with Tyler at the end of the show. Of course, from the UK, we signed him, and we had that killer main event. Baboon Palomino and Jim Allers, the Bare Knuckle Beast, and everybody was looking forward to it. I mean, you felt the intensity. When I was interviewing Luis, because he was getting ready. I don't think he wanted to come for that interview. I've never felt intensity like that in my entire life. It was incredible. But afterwards, I mean, the fight was incredible. The knockout was great.
I mean, it was
quick.
It was homegrown. That was our first true, real homegrown main event where we groomed both of these guys. And Luis Baboon Palomino won the world championship, and Jim Allers was 4-0 coming into this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tremendous opportunity for BKFC to really showcase what it has built, and it was a phenomenal. However long it lasted, it was great. They both came exactly what I thought was going to happen. I said neither of them has a reverse gear, so they came forward, and Baboon ended up winning by a very nice knockout.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. And then you had Tyler hopping in the ring, who we invited to the show, which I didn't expect. And I know that Luis was none too happy. This guy works so hard. He's trying to celebrate his victory, and then you got someone else jumping in. I mean, is that...
Yeah, it's good that, now we have another little storyline to build and everything like that. But, I mean, from a main event like that, with the build-up like that, I don't think that... not a lot of people knew him over here yet. Although he is a superstar over there in England, he's one of the best BKB fighters that ever really existed. I don't think he should have, kind of interrupted or crashed his party, if you will.
I'll say this.
It is what it is.
Tyler, I've seen his stuff too. He's a tough guy, but we saw what happens when the baboon gets pissed. And I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of that. So if that fight ever does happen, I'm sure it's a while off. I already want to see it.
Who's going to win?
That fight? It's too early to tell. I mean, I'd have to see both of them in action because I've never seen Tyler in BKFC.
That's the thing. What I did when we were in Miami, I pulled him aside and I talked to him and I said, I've watched all your fights. I know you're very established in what you do, but don't forget the rule set's a little bit different here. And with this rule set where you can clinch, do the Muay Thai clinch and punch, I mean, that leans towards Palomino, without a doubt. That definitely leans towards him. But the head movement, the slickness, of Tyler Goodjohn. I mean, again, who knows, man? I mean, I can't wait to see his debut first. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot better judgment after seeing his debut,
of course,
on December 11th.
Yeah, I mean, you also look at where he comes from. They're in a ring. We're in a circle. Now, I've never been a fighter. You've been a fighter. I would think that's a big difference. There's nowhere to hide. You're just in a circle. He was looking at the ring. He was, before the event started, he was taking it all in. I think we got some video footage of that too. Just seeing what he liked. He was checking out the scratch line, the toe of the line. He was checking out the cables being different and stuff. And he seemed pretty at home, I thought.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to adapt to it. You know, he's a fighter, right? He's a fighter, and fighters fight, and he wants to fight, and that's why he came over here to fight. So we're going to see what he has. But let me ask you a question about Goodjohn. How many girls did he sleep with this weekend?
Oh my gosh! Not only that, he was escorted around everywhere by beautiful women. When I saw him, I was like, this guy, and they weren't jealous. It was like they're just happy to be with him.
This guy is unbelievable.
It was insane.
Oh,
and then they had. I heard after everything happened with Palomino, they had to take him out with security to get him out of there because the crowd was so upset with him, what he did. And then I hear he meets Kendra Lust in the elevator with this guy. What's next?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Sure is.
I mean, he's a great personality, so I am very much looking forward to seeing him, throw down in the squared circle.
Thing is, I don't know if it's even a personality. I think that's the real guy, which is double scary. Like,
that's what I mean. I mean, he's real, and everything about him's real. I mean, look, some people might not like him, but that's okay. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if they like him, and that's what we like. People that can just be themselves and do what they have to do, and that's why we're signing these kind of guys. We're signing guys from all around the world. We have guys from Russia, we have guys from Italy, we have guys from Thailand. They're all coming over to us now. Obviously with everything that's happening with this pandemic and the border's not open, it's making things difficult. But once this world opens up wide, then it's going to be the worldwide takeover.
I agree. Let me ask you something. When we talk about the pandemic, I know there's restrictions happening as we speak, and they're going to continue. We're seeing in cities around the country, everywhere. Is that going to affect BKFC? I mean, will we stop running? How do we handle that?
No, we're going to keep going. Look, we, if you will, right? We roll with the punches.
Oh, I see how you did that, David. That's a really good one.
We do what we have to do. Look, we just got December 4th canceled in Kansas due to their regulations that they stepped up. So we moved to December 4th to December 11th in Biloxi, Mississippi. So we're still going to do that card. We're going to find a place to do these things. And if the whole country shuts down again and we're allowed to do them behind closed doors, then that's what we're going to do, because we have to give the fans, our momentum is unbelievable right now. So we have to just keep pushing forward and doing these shows and making sure the fans get what they want. And we have no plans on stopping down or even slowing down at all.
That makes me happy because, I'm a fan as well. I don't just work for you guys. I enjoy seeing the fights. And as we talk about...
I'm not only the owner.
Cy Sperling. Cy Sperling. Man, you always step on my beautiful transitions that I have. And nice transition there, and you step on it. I think you talk about momentum. We have to talk about BKFC 14 and the monster himself, Yuli Diaz. The momentum, that guy coming out of that quick knockout, which apparently I thought it was just in bare knuckle. I think combat sports, it's like a world record. Was it 3 seconds?
So the State Athletic Commission is actually reviewing to see if it was 2.2 seconds. They officially made the time at 3 seconds. If it's at 2.2 seconds, I believe it broke the world record for the fastest. 4, right? I think it was 4, but then seconds. Someone else said that there was something that was 2.7.
Wow.
So I think it's going to be the fastest knockout in combat sports history anywhere in the world, in any sport in the world ever. So that's, it's amazing that it happened on our show with Yuli Diaz. He jumped right off of that the scratch line and wasted no time. And then he wasted no time jumping over the top rope.
I thought he was going to be hurt doing it. I'll tell you, the scratch line was crazy because it was like, knuckle up, ding. I think it was like ding, guy was knocked out. It was. Have you ever seen a knockout? Like felt a knockout that quick? Felt in 3 or 4 seconds.
What's funny? As you know, I've been in boxing my whole life, and my dad trained a guy named Jimmy Thunder, and Jimmy Thunder actually had the record for heavyweights for the fastest knockout. They said, "All right, the bell rang. They came to the center of the ring, and he threw an overhand right and knocked out the guy. His name was Crawford Grimsley. I believe that was 8 seconds, but this was just unbelievable. That." History is made each and every show here at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It's amazing to see what these fighters are doing.
Dude, let's talk about history. I mean, this card jam-packed with history. What about Jake Boswick, Tyler Vogel, 5 rounds, and then all of a sudden we're trying to figure out what's going on. People are trying to figure out who the winner is. I hear people in the crowd talking. It's taken a long time. Then all of a sudden they announce there's going to be a 6th round. I want to know, I mean, that's never happened? Is that a new rule?
So here's what happened. Previously, I tried to make... If the fight ended in a draw, I wanted to add an extra round in. And Patrick Cunningham from the Florida State Athletic Commission came to me after that fight and he said, we talked about this before. Do you want to do an extra round? So instead of just instilling the extra round because it wasn't in their contract, I did go up to each and every one of each of their corners, not each and every one. Each of their corners, I went up to Tyler Vogel first and I said, listen, if it's a draw, because I want to tell him it was a draw. If it's a draw, do you want to do an extra round? And you're going to get paid extra money. And he's like, I'm in. I went over to Bostic. I said, if it's a draw, and he goes, huh? Like he didn't really understand what I said. And then his trainer said, if it's a draw, do you want to do an extra round? And I'm going to throw you a little extra money. And he's like, yep, I'm in. So there you have it. The first ever 6-round bare knuckle fighting championship match.
Wow, and that's going to be in the future. That's like a new rule. Is that all the time?
It's going to be a new rule, but this time we're going to put it in the contracts. The thing is, if it's not in the contract, you have a problem pushing the fighter into doing it. So I wanted to make sure that they knew they were going to get paid extra money. But it was unbelievable, right? Because everybody was like, "What's going on here?" Then all of a sudden, the roar of the crowd when they announced there's going to be a 6th round was crazy.
Dude, it was intense. Everyone was pumped up about that. And then you're watching that 6th round. Every 6th round, excuse me, I can't speak today since I got hit. The 6th round, you're watching it. Everyone's coming out of their seats. Everyone's into it hardcore. But as a fighter, because I've never done it, you have. And maybe you're in the mentality, okay, I went 5 rounds. I don't know this is going 6th round. They're never going to say no to you. A fighter's never going to say they don't want to go. But as a fighter, mentally, I think Chris Lytle was talking about this, maybe it was Sean. Does that play a game with you? Because you think the fight's over. Now you got to go do another round. I mean,
well, so had it been in their contract and they knew going into it, I think they would have been a little more prepared for it. But because it was kind of thrown in on them at the last minute, but they did get rewarded. I want to just say that so people don't think we just push them in to do something and didn't pay them for it. They were rewarded for it, but I think that because they didn't know, they were drinking water, they were cooling down, they were doing things that they probably normally wouldn't have done had they possibly had a 6th round, to the fight. So did it affect them? I would say it definitely had to affect them a little bit, and they came out, but they came out and. I mean, I know they were tired. I thought that there would be a little more action in that 6th round because to see who really wanted to win. But I guess, that's why we're going back and forth on the 6th round, because I always said that 5 rounds were great because we wanted to go to 7 rounds possibly for a championship fight. Mm-hmm. And I just think 5 rounds is enough. But I think it's something that we're going to debate on, and we're going to come to a conclusion soon. I think that 6th round was great.
Hell of a test run.
I think it was awesome.
I mean, hell of a test run. Fans seem to really enjoy it. Yeah. Aside from that, we talked about it last time we were on here, switching gears a little bit outside of BKFC, the Tyson fight coming up. Are you still into that? You still going to watch it? I feel like interest is there, then it's not. People are over the board with this.
I mean, if you're a fight fan, in any way, shape, or form, you have to watch a Mike Tyson fight, right? You don't know what's going to happen. They're saying it's going to be an exhibition or they can't knock each other out. But you get Roy Jones, a legend, one of the best ever. You get Mike Tyson, a legend, one of the best ever. In the ring, opposite corners against each other, something has to happen. I know this from even sparring my brother. Like, it would be like we would mess around and whoever landed the first good shot, it just turned out into an all-out war. It's going to happen. Someone's going to sleep that night. Someone is going to sleep.
That's what you're hoping for as a fan. So hopefully we do see that. I know also on that card, Jake Paul, who's had a pretty, people would say, big mouth lately, calling everybody out. I'm trying to think, is there anybody at BKFC maybe he might want to call it? You think he's afraid to do that?
Well, I mean, he's calling everybody out because, obviously he's very popular. He's a star. He's a YouTube star. He's got a pretty good name fighting right now. I think he's 1-1 or 2-0. I'm not even sure what his record is. But it's funny because I was talking to Yuli Diaz at the fight, and we were talking about the Tyson fight, and Jake Paul's name came out, and he said, if I win, I'd love to fight Jake Paul. So I'm going to see what happens there.
It should have been, if I win, I'd love to knock him out quickly. He might break his knockout record.
I mean, look, there would be a lot of hype in that right now, right? The holder of the fastest knockout in combat sports history versus Jake Paul.
Try to get it to 2 seconds if you do it, Yuli. I want to see 2 seconds.
I don't know if Jake Paul can last 10 seconds with him.
No, probably not. So that's why it would be great to see that. It'd be great for BKFC. We'll see if that happens. You'd allow that to happen, right? You'd love that.
It would be great. It would be great.
Right here in the ring. Don't you think he'd get annihilated, though, Jake?
The guy's got a lot of balls. He does. He came in from nowhere and fighting professionally. But, you just saw the guy knock this guy out in 3 seconds. So,
sick.
And his last fight was another first-round knockout, and he's 12-1 as a professional boxer. So,
well, he's been calling out Thiago Alves. He did that on the broadcast. I mean, is that a fight you see happening right away? Or
it could happen shortly. Thiago's away for a little bit. He's coming back. He's going to start picking up his training, and we'll see what's next for him. Could be around the Super Bowl. Could be a little bit after the Super Bowl. But that's something, kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Two Florida boys, two South Florida boys that are obviously going to have a little bit of animosity towards each other. So could be another build-up.
They'll be ready to wage war. We love that. Well, thanks for coming on today. We'll catch up with David Feldman from BKFC, the president, again really soon. Looking forward to BKFC 15 coming up. The British are coming. The British are coming. You can find out more about that as well. And make sure you check out the BK TV app. Maybe you're watching that right now on here. But we appreciate you being here on YouTube, wherever. Thank you for joining us and checking out BKFC.